Families, welcome to Back to School COVID style. I would like to thank you for taking the time to view these videos. I would so much rather be standing in front of you because then I could be my goofy self. I'm still going to be my goofy self, but it's weird when I'm the only one in the room. That's all. So this video is going to talk about some of the precautions that we're taking for COVID. You have been sent via email a sheet that talks about some of the extra measures we're taking in quite a few different areas. That includes where students will enter, middle school students entering through the back doors, high school students will enter through the upstairs door near the metal staircase out on the east side of the building, and some things like that. Hallways, one way, students will come up one set of stairs, which has always been like that, down another set, but halls will go in one direction only. And yes, even if your classroom is just 2 doors down, you do have to go all the way around to get back into this classroom. But this video is going to be on quite a few of the just a few things I want to make, some special points about. And I want to share with you one of the first things is the temperature. Precautions. We have to be so careful. And if your student has a fever at home because you are checking that your student is not symptomatic, that their temperature is 100.4 degrees or higher, your student will not be allowed to come to school. If you let them come to school and their temperature is that high, they will be quarantined and you will be required to come get them immediately. So please pre-check your child and make sure that they are not feverish. We do know some students run a little bit higher temperature or growth spurts, things like that happen, and students have some elevated temperatures. But if it's 100.4 or higher or below, I'm sorry, if it's 100.4 or below, oh my goodness, I'm messing this all kinds of up. If it's 100.4 or higher, don't send your kid to school. If it's 100.3 or lower, we're not going to worry about it. We will call you that your student's temperature is elevated, and if it's right around that range, we may still look to quarantine your child, just so you know. Face masks are required. Please make sure your student comes to school every day with a face mask. We don't have the resources to be able to give every student a face mask every day. So please make sure your student has a few different ones that they can bring. They should have it on all day long. We are sanitizing. Everything in the building will be sanitized. We have employed dedicated staff that is their job, is sanitizing. Door handles, phones, doorknobs, lockers, locks, everything that can be sanitized will be sanitized. In addition to that, we are putting in an air filtration system that is like what hospitals have and airplanes. It will filter out 99.9% of all creepy things in the air. So it will be a great investment because after COVID happens, there's still the flu, there's still common colds. And so these filters will help filter out anything that might be coughed into the air. We are going to be social distancing students as much as possible, but if you've ever met a teenager, you know it's hard to keep them away from other teenagers. So we are going to do our very best to keep them as socially distanced as possible. Classrooms, their desks, their assigned seats will be more than 6 feet away. The lunchroom, we will have them distanced. And the halls, this will be the challenging place, but we will do our very best to keep students as distanced as possible. One of the things which I'll talk about a little bit more is we are cutting down the transition time during passing periods to only 2 minutes. And I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. In addition to some of the things that we're asking you to help us with, for them to bring, we're going to train your children. We know that it's been going on, they've been getting the training on how to cough into their shoulder, their sleeve, their elbow. And so it'll be training like that. We're going to talk about washing their hands, when to wash their hands, how long to wash their hands, getting under the fingernails. And, so we're going to train children on COVID and the safety of it at school. So that will be part of our pre-service orientation for children in the first few days of school, and then we will carry that on as long as we get to be on campus. In addition to that, I'm adding it here, our new electronics policy. Phones will not be allowed from 7:30 until 3:15. Students may keep their phones in their backpack or on them. Students will be allowed to carry their backpacks this year due to COVID, so that way they're not touching lockers and going back and forth as much. So students are allowed to do that. Their phones can be kept in their bags or on their person. They may not have their phones out. They may not be on their phones at any time during the day. Phones will be taken from them, and the first time they can get it back in the office themselves. After that, parents have to come get their phones. We just know that phones are carriers of lots of things, and children take their phones, people take their phones everywhere. And so, just as a safety precaution, amongst other things that research shows are challenges that kids face if they're looking at their phones, playing on their phones, and then they go into a classroom. So, there's other reasons why electronics aren't going to be allowed this year or from this year on, but we can touch on that at another time. If you have questions, by all means, give me an email or a call. So during the student orientation, we will be doing all of this training and explaining this information to your children. We will go over COVID safety precautions and things that they will be required to do through the COVID situation. Some additional measures that we are taking, we are putting students into small cohorts. We are going to give them two names, and there will be like a group A and a group B, and group A will come on certain days and then be online the rest of the week. Cohort B will be on campus certain days, other days, and then online at opposite times. Next week, late in the week, we will get you what days your student will be on campus. That's a process, and we're still working through how to effectively balance out those groups so we have small enough cohorts that we can social distance. Like I said, passing periods are cut down to just 2 minutes, so we are stressing urgency and accountability. We are requiring that students go from class to class. There's no loitering in the halls because they'll just stand around and touching and talking really close to each other. And so to stop that from happening, we have cut down passing periods just enough to get from one class to another. If they do go to their lockers, they'll just have to go quickly to their locker. There's no socializing at that time. Now, if they get to their classrooms quickly, if they're carrying their backpacks, they will have time in their classrooms to socialize with students before the next class starts, but passing period will just be 2 minutes. Normally, restroom breaks in classrooms were saved until the last 10 minutes of class, but this year they'll be able to go as soon as they need to go, and so it'll be throughout the class period. We're hoping that this will really limit exposures to each other and what's going on around. But exposure, if you are exposed from a coworker at your job and it's confirmed cases, we have to share this information. So please let us know if there's a possibility that your child could be infected with the COVID virus. We will work on ways to get you to stay home, and your student can do all their schooling from at home. And we have lots of processes that we have set in place that this won't be that much of a challenge to transition them from on campus to online. And then once the worry is over, we can transition them back to on campus. So we will have to share with other families that there was an exposure. We just won't be sharing names and exact information. We'll share as much as we can, but we have to be able to keep everybody as safe as possible. We are also installing water fountains that are touchless so they can put their water bottle. We will unplug water fountains that you push and put your mouth to drink. So have your student bring water bottles. Have them make sure they're translucent, which is we can see through it. Those are the best ones. But if you only have solid color where we can't see through or metal ones, that's okay. We're not going to ask you to go buy new water bottles, but just know that they should bring a water bottle with them to school because water fountains will not be available. And as I said before, lockers, we are allowing students to carry their backpacks this year, so they will not have to go to lockers. Some students will choose to use lockers, and teachers and us admin, we will help monitor social distancing at lockers to ensure that they're not just all standing around. Consequences. We're asking that you really impress upon your child the importance of taking COVID very serious. There's no joking around with pretending to cough on people, pretending to sneeze on people, pretending to pass along germs. We have to be very serious about this. And so please impress upon your children that they don't even get to joke about it. I don't want to go into consequences because my hope is that we don't have that happen at all, because everybody understands the seriousness of this. But I just had to put it out there that we are holding teachers, students, admin, all people accountable for their actions during this time. And I just wanted it out there so it said that we will follow through with consequences if needed, but my hope is that everybody takes the situation as serious as possible. The last slide here is knowing the difference. Pre-screen your children. You know your kids. You know, at this time of year, they always experience that little lovely nasal drip, which causes them to cough in the back because stuff is dripping. It's really dry, so their throat is extra dry. You know your children. Just let us know, maybe send a note with your kid experiencing allergies. No COVID, anything else is just the runny nose, the itchy, watery eyes, it's the stomach flu. The whole family, we went out to dinner last night and we're not making it into school today. Nobody feels like coming, so and we just like you to be as safe as possible. But let us know, especially if they're going to be sniffling or coughing all day, that will freak people out. So just let us know that they're experiencing something, and that way we can support them in that. And because that'll be the next thing. A kid coughs and COVID, and we just don't want to create a panic. But we also, will help them explain, no, it's allergies and whatnot. But if they are symptoms, if it's not normal and they are experiencing the COVID symptoms, please, keep your kid home. Let us know. They can do remote learning for the day or for a few days until you know that they're safe and, oh, it wasn't COVID. They were just experiencing this. If you have questions, if you have concerns, give us a call, communicate with your teachers, let us know in the front office what we can do to help if you need supports with anything. But we're here and we're going to do everything we can to keep our staff and especially our students safe. So you all take care, have a great evening, and stay COVID free.